I think that brings us to the non-injury, potential injury with DJ LeMahieu, because
Yeah.
we were talking before the season, part of the reason why we thought that Gleyber Torres was worthy to part ways with, or we were eager about Josh Donaldson going, was because you could pencil in DJ being your starter at second or at third. And DJ would be the third baseman, a better option over Donaldson. And I think he's put together decent stretches this year, but the last 2 weeks have been really rough for DJ.
It's very perplexing looking at his sabermetrics and his peripherals, just because some of them look really good. Like I think his average exit velocity and top average top exit velo on the season are actually higher than previous seasons. The problem is he's striking out like 28%. And last year he was around like 14%. He's never really eclipsed 15 to 16 throughout his career. He's always been elite when it comes to not striking out on pitches. He's got great bat to ball. That's his like biggest skill and his biggest asset. And that's what kind of made him special in this lineup, right? Is he was able to come over and hit for contact, and then he also kind of figured out the whole power thing when he first came here. Now it's looking like he's lost his extra base hit pop. He's not hitting the ball nearly as frequently. He's whiffing a lot. He's striking out. He's expanding the zone. So it's not just a matter of like, you can't chalk it solely up to injuries where it's like, oh, it's just got to be the foot. He's not getting his weight behind the ball. He's not barreling up balls that are in the zone because he is swinging at balls in the zone. No, it's like he's expanding the zone on top of not barreling balls that are in the zone. So those are two separate things going on. And the defense has been good, but it's not justifiable enough to like start him over Donaldson at this point, in my opinion, because Donaldson has immediately provided more impact in the few games that he's been here. Like, we have to keep in mind too, he homered in opening day. So he really, like, when he's been on the field this season, Donaldson has not let up at all. He did start off, I think, a little bit slow after opening day. He had a few days stretch before his injury where he was like slumping a little bit, but that's also so early in the season that you can't really chalk that up to anything other than just trying to find your footing. And the fact that he was injured made sense as well. But the point being, Donaldson is right now currently a more impactful player than DJ LeMahieu. And while people hate Donaldson's contract, DJ's contract's looking way worse every season if he continues to play at this level. And I really hope he doesn't, because he's a fantastic player and he's been a bit like, he's one of the like better Yankees that's been here for a longer stretch of time. And the fact that he's in this kind of downward spiral right now, you really hope that he can turn it around, but it's also, he's hamstringing this team more than anyone else.
Yeah, DJ in his last 15 games, 2.6% walk percentage, 29% strikeout percentage. His walk to strikeout ratio is 1 to 10. And that's to go along with a batting average of 190, which is well below DJ's benchmark. But DJ's value is that he gets on and he hits singles. He's not walking, he's not hitting. His on base is 211. So not only is he hitting 190, but his on base percentage is only 20 points higher. Compare that to someone like Anthony Volpe, who is hitting in the last 2 weeks as well, 130, really low, but he's getting on base at a 190 rate. So it's 70% more, which is still terrible, still awful.
Really bad. Yeah.
But he has that difference in between. And DJ slugging is kind of up. I mean, his OPS is 560. And it's very, over the last few weeks, this is cutting out his splits. It's interesting for DJ because in the past you would go to you would go to StatCast and look at his numbers and you would see, okay, the power is not there. The max exit velo, the average exit velo is not there, even though the barrel, like, he's making contact the same amount. And you could tell that it was something physical. DJ is making contact less, and when he makes contact, it's the same. He's hitting it just as hard. I know he was hurt a bit by a few superb plays over this last 2-game series. I mean, he had a ball that got robbed in the Orioles series and in the Padres series. A few nice diving plays. It could be people shifting smarter on DJ, and they were over shifting before, and now that they don't have to shift him, he's hitting into it. But the batted ball and like the strength stats seem to be there. It seems to just be that he's off. He's just not making contact as much anymore. And that's really concerning to me.
Yeah, because it's like you have to wonder, is that due to age catching up to him? Is it due to all the prior injuries catching up to his body and just making him generally a little bit slower? Like these are the answers the Yankees essentially need to get to the bottom of, or else we're going to constantly be running out a player who's the shell of himself, who is holding up a roster spot. That's a very important one because he is the super utility guy of the infield right now. And you have Oswald Peraza sitting in AAA tearing the cover off the ball. I think he's got like 10 homers in like 14 days or 15 days or something like that. It's an insane number. Um, and it's not justifiable for him to be sitting in AAA when he's clearly above that level of play at this point in his career. And he's like known to provide elite defense at shortstop. He's looked pretty good from what I remember at second base and third base in spring training as well. And yes, Volpe absolutely won the job out of camp. So I'm not going to say that Volpe should have been the one sent down and Peraza should have been the one up or any of that. That's a whole different conversation. But the fact of the matter is DJ is the one who plays all of these different positions that impact Volpe, Peraza, Torres. All of these guys play those positions primarily as well. And now it feels like Peraza is getting the short end of that stick. So what happens with DJ? Does he see a Phantom IL stint so that way you can get a hot hand like Peraza up and then actually give him a legitimate shot? The Yankees haven't shown any willingness to to give Peraza any kind of run. Even when he was on the roster last year, he was still being benched, like 40% of the time. So they have to prove that they actually want to have him up and playing, even though he probably deserves it.